No, I just grope along and try to find my way when I start. But I think a lot about the people involved and their problems and how they are going to solve them and how I can help solving them. And then they get to know each other, of course. The persons get to know each other, so the plots become more and more entwined. I just follow them along, like the reader does, I guess. Yes, because when someone has died, we have them inside ourselves. So in a way, they become ghosts inside of us. But I don't really believe that you can see them outside, like a true ghost. And I leave that up to the reader to decide if ghosts exist or not.
Right.
That's more interesting.
Yeah.
No, some stories I've heard. For instance, some people who went out to fish on the ice,
Yes.
and the ice broke loose and they floated away into the sea and no one could rescue them. That is a true story that my grandfather told me. So some stories are real. And there were a lot of shipwrecks on the coast of Öland, and they used to build the timber from the ships. They built these old houses
Right.
from the wrecks. So that is also true. Well, it's both, because my grandfather and his brothers told me ghost stories that they said they had experienced at sea or on Öland in the dark. They had seen strange things, men without heads and things like that. And then I started to read my own stories by Edgar Allan Poe and other writers. And so it's developed from both ways. Yeah, my grandfather and my mother and their family have lived there for hundreds of years. So absolutely, it's a long line of people. Most people in Sweden know this island as a tourist place,
Yes.
where you go in the summer to swim and have a suntan and sail. But I wanted to give the other picture, what happens when all the tourists leave.
In the winter.
In the winter, I'm sure you have islands like that in France, where there's a lot of people in the summer and then everybody leaves and it gets very quiet and
Yes.
kind of spooky in the
Yes.
winter. My grandfather died when he was very young, just 63 years old, and there was so much I couldn't talk with him about. I tried to sort of bring him back a little in this character of Jarlof. Jarlof is over 80 years old now, and he has a lot of memories, and he has seen the island change from the old place where you had to really work hard for a living, and to the new one where all the tourists come with their money.
Yes.
So he's a link to the past. Yeah, he's intuitive. He thinks a lot, and he has time to think because he's so old. He can just sit all day and think and wonder about these mysteries of the island and try to solve them.
Yes.
So he's a sort of a detective as well. Some people even think he exists in Sweden. They have phoned me and wanted to meet him. And that's kind of strange, because he's made up. He comes from me, because when I had finished my first novel, my own mother became ill with cancer, and she died when I was writing L'Echo des Morts. It's my own grief, really, that has gone into the character of Joachim. The story is made up, but the feelings are personal. It's really just to connect with people, I think. Because my relatives on Öland, they told stories all the time to each other as a way of communicating and reaching out to each other. That's what I feel. I just keep on in that tradition of meeting people through my stories.